Do you want to create an overlay similar to this? Well, you're in the right place. I recently posted my concept on Twitter and received amazing feedback and tons of requests on how to do this, so I wanted to share the process with you. Let's get started. For this tutorial, at the bare minimum, you will need OBS, Open Broadcast Software, and OBS Virtual Camera. And if you are interested in my card display overlay program, you will also need to download and install OBS WebSocket and Node.js LTS version. This tutorial will not cover the installation process for OBS WebSocket, or Virtual Camera plugin, but I will provide a brief tutorial on Node.js and how to set up the card display to work within the OBS program. Additionally, I will provide a setup guide to give you ideas on how to create an overlay tailored to your needs. The card display works as a program that if you ever wanted to display a card after searching for a specific card in a database, you just click on the card, it relays the image on this side, and then it also sends it over to your OBS program. The card display overlay program will be available on my Patreon, and all my patrons and supporters will be able to access this program. If you're interested in this application and other programs, supporters can gain access to this and many different tools I create. Thank you again to all my Patreon subscribers and other channel members and Twitch subscribers for supporting my channel. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support me, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel and share this video and leave a like. Once you have OBS installed and all the necessary plugins and applications, you're going to go ahead and we're going to make 4 different scenes. One for the main display for recording and live streaming, another to record your playmat that you are pointing your camera to, another scene that is going to game capture Pixelborn Connect, and then an optional face camera if you choose to add one. So in order to add scenes, you're going to click the plus icon, you're going to name the scene. I recommend naming the scenes as what I have for the time being, and then you're welcome to change these later, so it's just easier to follow the tutorial. I'm going to click cancel, you're going to click OK, and then it gives you the option to add more sources here. In order to add your web camera, you're going to go ahead and click the plus icon, and then you're going to click on video capture device, create new. You're going to click, you're going to name it to whatever your camera device is. You're going to click OK. I'm going to click cancel. And as an example, so we have under the properties, this is what it should look like for you. This drop down should be the camera that you have selected for your face camera. And make sure this button will say deactivate to turn it off for you. I'm going to leave it as deactivated on my side. That's why it's giving me the choice to activate. So if you see that's different, don't panic. And then you're going to click OK. And for the testing purpose of this, so you'll have it on in your main display. You should see your web camera visible, present there. But I'm just going to use an image as a placeholder, so then that way I don't confuse too many people. And there you go. You now have a scene that's dedicated to your face cam. So we're going to move on now to Pixelborn Connect, the game scene, which is basically going to capture and record your opponent's gameplay. So now that we have the face cam collection, we're going to go ahead and create one for Pixelborn Connect. So make sure Pixelborn Connect is open first. So then that way we can go ahead and click the plus icon and click on game capture. And you're going to type Pixelborn Connect here. You're going to click OK. I'm going to click cancel. And then the next thing you should see is under the properties of this, you'll see the different mode windows. So under mode, you're going to capture specific window, and then for the window, you're going to select Pixelborn from the dropdown. You're going to click OK. I'm going to click cancel, and then it'll look like this. That's just what the main canvas should be. But this isn't what the gameplay screen actually looks like when we're in the middle of a game. It actually looks something like this, where it'll have your opponent's camera feed and then your camera feed down here, and along with the resource tracker and points tracker. For both your opponent and yourself. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to cut out the fluff and only keep the relevant stuff for the stream, or at least what I deemed as relevant for the stream. So under the Pixelborn Connect opponent's webcam scene, you're going to right click and click filter, and then you're going to click the plus icon, and then you're going to click image, mask, and blends. And on my Discord channel, I made the mask available to download. So go ahead and join my Discord and download that file under the Lorcana resource tab, and you're going to click browse, and wherever you downloaded it, you're basically just going to point this file or this link to that file, and then when you have it correctly installed, this is what it's going to look like. It's going to crop out all the excess or basically the non-important area, and you'll notice that like even this part is removed because we have plans for this section. So the most important things is we have the opponent camera feed and the resource for both your opponent and yourself. So now we're gonna go ahead and make the Playmat feed scene. So you're just gonna go ahead and click the plus icon, and then you're gonna name it Playmat feed scene. So now yours should be present here, and then yours should be empty, but we're gonna go ahead and add another video camera. So video capture device, you're gonna name it as such, as Playmat camera. And just like before when we added the camera for our face cam, you're gonna make sure you select the device that is pointing to your camera feed. And then when you have it fully enabled, you should see the visuals up top here. And we're gonna go ahead and do one more thing here. So under the virtual camera sections on the bottom right hand side, you're gonna click this gear icon, and we're gonna change this to scene, because by default it's just the full program, whatever is being currently displayed. But we're gonna change to scene, and then you're gonna choose the Playmat feed scene. This is super important to do. So you're gonna go ahead and click OK. So you should now have 2 to 3 scenes, one with the Playmat feed, another with Pixelborn ready to go, and then we should also have our face cam if you do decide to put one on. And we're gonna now bring it all together into one final scene. All right, so for the last time, we're gonna go ahead and create one last scene. If you haven't already, Pixelborn Connect gameplay, you just do as before, name it as such. And then this will be blank. I pre-populated some of these things just to make it a little bit easier for myself. But as you can see, we now have just a blank black canvas to work with. But what I did ahead of time is set a background. And this is just by clicking plus, adding an image, and then pointing that image. Not necessarily too important, but this is definitely something you guys maybe want to consider in using. There's a bunch of OBS tutorials on how to do something like that. And we need to now add all these scenes into our sources. So in order to do that, so for example, we have our face cam output, a face cam collection out, the optional scene. So you just click plus, click scene, add existing, and then you'll click the face cam, which I already did here. So that will be here. And this is my transformations. I'll go ahead and show you guys that. I gotta unlock it first. So for transformations, edit transformation. So if you guys want to copy exactly as to what settings I have here, you just need to make sure it mimics these settings as such. And then we're going to go ahead and do the same thing for the Pixelborn Connect scene. So that was plus, scene, add scene, Pixelborn Connect scene, the opponent webcam such one. And then I'll show you the edit transformation so you guys can copy that verbatim. So just match all of these settings here, and then it'll place the camera exactly like such. And if you're curious as to how I was able to crop out the resource and points total, you do this by holding Alt and dragging the little red square to in and out, and that'll be able to crop out the settings there. But if you copy my transformations exactly as shown, it should automatically just place it for you. But in case you get lost, that's how to do so. And then the final thing, we're gonna finally add our scene that we're reflecting for our playmat. But this is actually going to be a virtual camera feed. So how we do that is we click plus, and then we go into video capture device. And then you're going to go ahead, and I'll show you the properties here. So once you select it, you create it. For device, you're going to pick OBS virtual camera. And that's why it's super important to have this. And then we're going to click OK, and then I'm going to enable that. Here is the transformations for that too. If you guys want to copy those, here it is. Go ahead and pause it now. And then this is now what we have here, but you may be wondering, we have our opponent camera feed up top, we have our webcam on the right, and then we have this scene here. Why is it like this? Well, as soon as you click start virtual camera, what it'll do is it'll relay that playmat feed as this camera source. And this is super important for Pixelborn, because when I go to Pixelborn, we go to play and we go to test. What we're going to do is we're going to make sure that this toggle right here for OBS virtual camera is set, because you can cycle through all of these just by clicking this. So just make sure it's set to OBS camera, just like that. And then for this is your microphone setting, and this is your headphone setting. And once you have everything saved, you're going to click refresh, and then it'll load your feed if it doesn't already show up here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to now add the resource and points calculator or display to the scene. So from here, we're going to go ahead and right click Pixelborn Connect. You can click copy, and then in this blank area, you can paste a reference. And then what it does is it makes a duplicate. And just like how I mentioned, hold Alt, drag this out, so then that way you can crop out these different parts here. So holding the Alt key on your keyboard will now display these, and then you can kind of just place it however you want. So you can have them up here. You can maybe get even fancier if you crop them out and place them however you want. I just kind of want to give you some examples. Maybe you could do just the 2 and then place them on the top left for your opponents, because that is what is tracking your opponent's totals. Do not be afraid as if the display scene looks like this, because you may be working with the scene and then the Pixelborn Connect camera actually looks something like this. So it's just, you know, pre-cropped out and such from the scene. You may even have it not active at all, and then that just kind of messes the whole thing. So make sure you at least have the scene visible. So I'll go ahead and turn that back on. I'm going to use my reference because it's a little bit easier for me to manage, but maybe you can get in a lobby with a friend or just get in a game. But if you just use the alpha channels as like they're already designed and outlined, that should be kind of a great way to kind of pre-place these for you. But yeah, you guys can get as creative as you want with these, just like how I can like place that down here, crop out a single one, and then I can move it like maybe up here and down here. So you guys can really kind of make it your own however you want. These are just examples here, but I already have this done, so I'm just going to go ahead and add that scene for us here. And I'll just remove that with the little delete icon. Yeah, and I just have this in a little folder and stuff. But you will also notice that I have image source vertical and image source horizontal, and that's for my card display application that I'll be showcasing to you soon. But if that is basically what you want, you have all this extra space on the left-hand side, above the webcam, below the webcam. The whole field is basically your canvas to basically paint on. So have fun in creating a display. But if you're interested in getting the card display tool that I created, consider becoming a Patreon subscriber or Twitch subscriber or YouTube channel member to gain access to this tool, and I'll show you how to set that up. Really briefly, just to give you an idea of what this tool is and how its intended use is. So let's say you have any card, and I mean any card, downloaded to your image folder within this program. You can search for it. So any IP is valid, any search name is valid if it is a PNG, JPEG, a GIF, and so on and so forth. But when you use this tool and then you want to search for a card that you're trying to find, and I click it, when I click this image, it sends it to the stream. So that is a really great and useful, handy way to quickly pull up cards. Maybe you're doing some live game commentary and you want to quickly pull up a card to showcase for the stream or video recording. And that's kind of the whole purpose of this tool. As long as you name the file that's a searchable term within this search field up here, you'll be able to filter for it, click the image, and then it shoots it over to the OBS camera feed. If that's something you're interested in and it helps kind of fills up the canvas for you, I strongly recommend, and thank you in advance for supporting my channel. So for this specific process, I'll try to be as clear and simple as possible within my Patreon. And also if you are a YouTube channel member or Discord member or Twitch subscriber, you should essentially get access to this zip file here. And what you do is you right click and then you're going to want to extract the files, and that's already done here. So you'll have a file that looks just like this. Within the top bar, you're going to go ahead and type cmd, you're going to run the terminal, and then you're going to type in nmp install, and you're going to let that run. And this is just to make sure that everything is all up to date and installed for basically all the dependencies in order to run a local server that hosts this application. From here, you should be able to close this, and we're going to go ahead and modify some of the files that are inside this public folder. You're going to open up that folder, and then you'll see 4 different files in here. And if I pull up my notepad, if you went ahead and right click and edit, you can click edit, or if you have Notepad++, you can go ahead and use that. But we're just going to go ahead and tweak some settings within some of these files, and if you copy basically where I'm showing you where to adjust these files, it should be relatively easy for you to follow. Before we go and actually edit these files, at any point you get lost, if you go up one folder, there is a readme text file that gives you a text version of how to do these steps, but I'm going to go ahead and provide a visual aid to make sure everybody's also on the same page. Primarily, the only file that you need to worry about adjusting is this OBS control.js file, so you're going to right click and click edit on that, but I'm going to go ahead and drag over my Notepad++, so you guys can see. And this is essentially the only line that you need to worry about. Number 6, row number 6, where it says obs.connect ws, and then it's OBS IP address, OBS port, and OBS password. So how do we find that information? So we're going to go ahead, I'll minimize this, and then we're going to go under tools, and then you're going to see WebSocket server settings. Once you click on WebSocket server settings, you'll be greeted with this pop-up menu here. So what's very important is that you enable this checkbox for your settings, and then you'll notice that the server port is 4455. This is by default, and that's fine. We're going to make sure this toggle is checked off for enable authentication, and then you'll see that the password is blocked out. So in order to view your password and information, you're going to click show connect information, and then a new window is going to pop up here. From this, you're going to go ahead and copy this information here, and this will be relevant for the file that we're going to alter. You'll see server port is set to 4455, and then your server password is also going to be present here. Mine is just blocked out for security reasons. And we're going to take this information and move it over onto the file. Also be sure to click the apply button when you're all done to make sure that our settings get saved. So you're going to just replace this section here with the IP address. So it'll be your IP, which was probably like, I don't know, 192.168.1.1 as an example. I'm not too entirely sure, it's different for everybody. And then OBS port, you're going to change this to 4455, and then whatever your password is, you're going to go ahead between these brackets type your password, but whatever it is there that you're going to copy and paste into that section. So super easy, and then you're going to click save. Make sure you save that file when you're done. As a quick reminder, this application does use the port 3000, so if you're using an application that also uses port 3000, you'll have to change it in some of the configuration settings, but I'll just assume most people aren't. And if you need to do that, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about when you know how to change the port. We are now in hopefully the home stretch for everybody. So what up next is basically we need to now add 2 image sources, both specifically named image source horizontal and image source vertical. And it's also pretty important that you have this thing called Pixelborn Connect gameplay. But if it's not, that's okay. Don't worry about it. I'll show you how to alter this, because the application looks for these specific image paths within these sources and the scene within it to basically update and push the changes. So what we have to do here first is you click the plus icon and you're going to click image. I'm going to name it test just so you get to see what happens, but you will name it image source horizontal and another one image source vertical, and click OK. And this section here, you're going to just leave it blank, and you're going to have to trust the process for what it is. Once that's saved, you're going to click OK. I'm going to click cancel, and I'm going to remove this for my scene. So you should already now have these 2 sources visible with nothing present there, and we have the Pixelborn Connect gameplay as the scene that's currently active that it's under. If for whatever reason you went ahead and changed the scene name, or in the future you want to change the scene name, all you have to do is you go into the OBS configure file, which is right here, and then under line 37, OBS control.js edit file, line 37, just change this section here for Pixelborn Connect gameplay to the scene that is named right here. And that should be able to do it in order to push these updates. So that should be almost now done. Under the file, which I'm going to open right now, we're going to go back into that file that we have downloaded, and within the card showcase file we have a start_server.bat. You're going to double click it, and then it's going to open up a command prompt, and then when it's completely up and running, it'll say server running at http://localhost:3000. And you're going to leave this window open. You could just let this run in the background. I'm going to minimize all of this, and then a browser will open up. Your default browser should load up, and I'm going to drag this over here so you guys can see it. And then this is what it should look like pre-images installed. So let's go ahead and shrink this to the side, and I am going to go ahead and select an image, and it should also push it towards here. It might add it to the top left corner for you, but I already pre-placed it. And then from this point, you can move these around however you need to be for wherever placement you need. And then if you click a vertical one or a horizontal image, if you click it, it's gonna basically change the image from the vertical one to be basically like hidden, because it's gonna set it to an invisible pixel. And then you can swap between the 2, and this works for anything. So if I just type test, you'll notice that like the empty space here, but if I type pixel, maybe not the best example, but here we are where it can do the horizontal and vertical. I think this one's actually named horizontal. Yeah, so if I type horizontal, only the horizontal card shows up. And then if I type vertical, I don't think it actually is named here, but yeah, I just put it as test. So here it is. So you should be able to see now that it is working as intended for everybody. But if you have any questions or issues, feel free to reach out to me on Discord to help you set that up or maybe give you some additional troubleshooting. But I do believe I covered basically all the major steps or quirks with the system as to maybe why it's not working. And it's most likely because the names aren't matching or the scene name isn't matching, or you just didn't install Node.js correctly. In hopes to make this as simple as possible for everybody, I went ahead and within the download, you'll see this stream image, mask, and test images. So you're welcome to use any of these files to also assist you while framing it just exactly how I had it, because I was using test images for everything. But I will have the Pixelborn Connect in-game image for you, and I also have this one warning that if you do see this missing file warning, do not panic, just click apply and cancel. It's because the OBS is looking for the file of what it's set to from the last session that you were active. So you can click apply or cancel, and then when you go ahead and proceed, it'll be present for the next time and just work as normal. And there you guys have it. I sincerely hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and I tried my best to make it as clear and easy as possible. And if you guys are interested in any other TCG related content, I strongly recommend you leave a like, follow, and subscribe, and check me out on my live stream on twitch.tv/Gilligibyte. And I will see you guys in the next video. I'm out of here.